Hello friends, welcome to my lecture on cascade method of cylinder sequencing. I'm using Fluid Sim H, that is Fluid Sim Hydraulics, for this exercise. Okay, the unique feature of cascade method is that when a particular cylinder expands and contracts simultaneously or consecutively, shift resistor method cannot be used. Okay, so in such cases we use cascade method. Okay, in the sequence given you can clearly see a plus b minus a minus. So this b plus and b minus are consecutive actions, so here you have to use cascade method. And in such cases what you have to do is you have to divide these actions or sequences in groups. So we have divided a plus b plus as one group and b minus a minus as second group. Okay, so for actuating these sequences you also need power lines or source lines, or they are also known as pressure manifold lines. So we have made two lines, L1 and L2. This is L1, this is L2. Okay, so these are done by dragging this pressure symbol, two symbols, rotate them properly and connect them. So this is your one pressure line. You replicate the pressure line, so you have two lines, L1 and L2. Okay, so now the other requirement of this circuit is you need two double acting cylinders, A and B, which we have chosen, and by using distance rule we have placed sensors S1, S2, S3, S4. So these are nothing but these sense the contracted position and expanded position of piston. Okay, this is one part. Then you have to choose 4x2 direction control valve, that is 4x2 DCV, which is pilot actuated. As you can see here, both the valves are pilot actuated. They will also need energy supply element, so we have connected a pump and a tank here, okay, to drain the oil. Similarly for this setup, and then you will need also one more 4x2 valve, which is known as cascade valve. So generally the rule is number of pistons minus 1 is the quantity of cascade valves to be used. So here, since there are two cylinders, we are using one cascade valve. So what is the function of this cascade valve? This cascade valve allows to switch the power from one line to another line, okay, from L1 to L2 or from L2 to L1, right? Now apart from these requirements, what you need limiting valves or the sensors, which are nothing but you can choose 3x2 valves for that purpose. And how many you need? You need 4, because there are two cylinders, and ideally per cylinder you should use two valves. We will place two valves above the line, pressure lines, and two below the pressure line. Okay, this is just for the sake of convenience. Now what you can do is you can make these valves mechanical roller actuated spring return, because these are limit switches. What you can do is you can make one valve and replicate the valves instead of working on individual valves. Okay, since we have made, now we will just do it quickly, because this will save time. If you just make one valve and replicate, it will save time, right? So this is again roller actuated and spring rated valve. So 4 valves you have made, and you will also need one push button for starting the circuit. So this will be simple manually functioning button with spring return. So this is your button, push button. Okay, so now we are having all the components required for completing the logic. So basically, if you develop a pneumatic or hydraulic circuit, so what are the various parts of that circuit? You need to have energy supply elements or the input elements, which are nothing but in case of hydraulics it is power pack, and in case of pneumatics it is compressor, and probably pneumatics will need FRL unit. You can show this in this circuit. You can also show power pack, but it will occupy a lot of space. So to avoid that, we have just used a simple pump and a tank. Okay, so these are requires of energy supply elements. Then you have control elements or the processing elements, where you will have these valves, limiting valves, and also the direction control valves, which will decide the logic. And accordingly the piston movements are controlled. Okay, this is the piston end of the piston, and this is rod end. So the movement of pistons are controlled by control elements of a circuit or processing element. And finally you have actuators, right? Here we are using double acting cylinders which act as a linear actuators. So now let's start connecting the components one by one. Here the first sequence is A plus. So A plus, let us take, it will get power from L1. So after A plus, what happens? S2 gets true. So let's name this sensor as S2. You can also see here I have mentioned for A plus S1 is true, for B plus S2 is true, for B minus S4 is true, and for A minus S3 is true. Okay, so now you can connect it here. Now this will get again power from line L1, correct? Because L1 is going to deliver power to A plus B plus, and L2 is going to deliver power for B minus A minus, right? So what happens after B plus? After B plus, S4 gets actuated, okay, and after S4 gets actuated, B minus has to take place. So, and for B minus, as you see, it will come from L2. Okay, so this is your B minus. Then after B minus, what happens? A minus. So when B minus happens, S3 is true. When S3 is true, A minus will happen. So this is going to be your S3. Right? Now you connect this line here, and this also is going to come from line L2, right? But as you can see, this is S1. S1 and S4, okay. See, B minus happens when S4 is true, so this is B minus. But for this, it will get power from, B minus has to come from the line 2, correct? Okay. So for B minus, it gets power from sensor, this valve, and but through this valve and through this line. So for these two valves, or for these two sequences, the power is going through these two sensors and through these power lines. Okay, that is why it is shown like this. Now you can connect it here. Okay, now this you can connect to the line L1. Now, but what happens after A plus and B plus, the power has to switch over from line L1 to line L2, because the next two sequences are going to be powered by line L2. So this happens through this switch. Okay, now here you connect, and this connection you have to make it here. So this more or less completes the circuit. Now you check if there are any open connections, and then fill them properly. You can see there are some open connections which need to be plugged in using tank. As you can see, there is one requirement of tank here. There is one more requirement of tank here. Okay, here there is one tank required. You can drag it little below. I think there is tank required here also. There is one tank required here. Okay, so this completes the circuit. Now you can check if it is correct by simulating it. So you can just see this, if you can see this dark triangle, press on that, so you will get see the pressure lines activated now, the L2 is activated now, and now if you press it, okay, see what happens. Correct. So now this circuit is now correct because the sequence is functioning properly. You can just try it again, try to simulate again. Okay, so this is how the cascading circuit works. Okay, thanks.